Cellar Angels is a direct-to-consumer wine curator. We feature wines exclusively from Napa and Sonoma. 99% of the time, these are wines you cannot secure yourself in a retail environment. You would normally only get them if A, you visited the winery, or B, you happen to be on the winery's private mailing list. So we feature those wines on our website at cellarangels.com. And the neat thing about every one of the transactions, and especially if you join the wine club, is that a portion of proceeds goes to the charity that you select. One of our better charities as far as promotion, as far as activity, as far as involvement is Folds of Honor. And Folds of Honor is a military charity that is a national charity, but also has several, I think 20 regional chapters around the United States. And tonight we have the opportunity to speak with the Folds of Honor representative and chapter founders, I believe, Dora Monahan and Doug Campbell. And we're gonna bring them up as a panelist right now to jump on with us.
Hey everybody.
This is Doug and Dora, and Doug, I actually don't know how we first met. It could have been through Folds, but it's going on 4 or 5 years now. And not only is Doug the organizational strength and muscle and brains, along with Dora, of the Denver chapter of Folds of Honor, he's also a library club member here at Cellar Angels. So he has a fondness for wine, both domestic and international. And we're humbled to have both he and Dora tonight to talk about Folds of Honor as a military charity. And Doug, I would love to have you introduce both of you, where you are, how you got involved with Folds, and what this partnership means to you. Good, and cheers, great. And thanks so much for jumping on, you guys.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you, Martin, for having us. And we're usually called Beauty and the Beast. But thanks. It's great to be part of another Cellar Angels event. And I think we actually met through one of the national board members when you guys had worked on the La Quinta Country Club event.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Larry, who had you guys out there. We were at that event, and that's when we found out the Cellar Angels relationship with Folds of Honor. We've been involved with Folds in some of the golf events they've done around the country at La Quinta Country Club and at the University Club in Louisiana. And we approached Cherry Creek Country Club here in Denver about doing an event 4 years ago. And we started the Denver chapter. So we're very excited about that. We have 2 children in the military. We have a daughter who's active in the Air Force, and we have a son who is Navy Reserve right now, who unfortunately came back to the US a year ago from Italy. He had to depart Italy to come back to the US. So we do have a direct pipeline to Brunello's and Barolo's, thanks to the time he spent in Italy. But as many of you know, now Colonel, then Major Dan Rooney started Folds of Honor back in 2007. And he felt on his return from his last mission in the Middle East that he had a calling of doing something beyond his service to this country and helping the families. And he had seen situations where family members had dealt with death or disability due to their military service. And he started in his garage in Owasso, Oklahoma, a charity that provides educational scholarships for the children and spouses of fallen or disabled military members. And to date, they have funded since '07 over 24,500 scholarships that covers kindergarten through college. These scholarships are typically $5,000 a piece and cover everything from parochial schools to college and even graduate work. So they've done a remarkable job. They're GuideStar Platinum rated. 89 cents of every dollar they raise through our donations through Cellar Angels and everything else, 89 cents of every dollar goes to the scholarships, which is remarkable for most charitable organizations.
No, that's first. I want to back up a second and thank you both, and you know, raise a glass to your children, because that military service is so incredibly precious. And I mean, one of my favorite phrases, I am not military. I had an ROTC class at Colorado State. So I was able to disassemble and reassemble an M16 machine gun in record time. So that was actually pretty cool. But as they say, freedom isn't free. And there's people like your children that are actually paying, the fee for that freedom. So thank you both to that, because that's incredible. And you've been involved now for a few years, and I was at one of the last functions last September. I can't believe it's a year out down there at Cherry Creek. And what these scholarships mean to people from an educational standpoint. Talk a little bit about that, and how moving it is for them to be able to matriculate through high school or college, and how you guys make all that happen.
Yeah, it's remarkable. At the events we've done, we've brought scholarship recipients in as speakers, and there's nothing more powerful than that. You get a young lady who's just finished a communications degree from Michigan State, and she's up there on stage before 150, 200 people, and she's sharing her story, and she's sharing the story of her dad, who passed away when she was 8 years old, and how Folds of Honor has helped her complete, her college and everything else. And you see this young lady up there, 22 years old, and you're just in awe of the success that she's been able to achieve due to the help of many gracious donors. And we've been at events, and the events we've had here the last couple of years, where these spouses and these children literally get standing ovations from the crowd, and they're just very impressive people, given what they've gone through and the sacrifices that their families have endured. And unfortunately, with all of the military benefits that our service men and women have, there is nothing there for education. There's a GI Bill and an active scenario, but for the spouses and the children left over, there's nothing there. And I think the motto that Colonel Dan came up with years ago, honor their sacrifice and educate their legacy, is real powerful. And so we try to do everything to help that. Knock on wood, fortunately, our family has not been directly affected with any death or disability, but our daughter did just come back from a deployment in Japan. And while our kids have been in harm's way at different times, we've been fortunate, but we have met other families that haven't been as fortunate, and we're thankful for their service, but we also want to try to help them still accomplish those educational goals that they want to achieve.
Honor their sacrifice and educate their legacy is about as succinct as it needs to be. And what an absolute simple thing to do. Just by buying wine, you can check a box and basically help that education process. And I can tell you, everybody that's watching and that will watch this later on, Doug and Dora are the epitome of hustle. This event that they throw on in September, it's probably, if I'm not mistaken, and on how these things grow, this is usually a year-round event where, the minute it gets over, you're already planning for the next year.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And we've got this year, due to the coronavirus, it's going to be a golf-only event on Monday. And if anybody's going to be or wants to be in Denver, Monday, September 28th, we still have a few golf openings open at Cherry Creek Country Club. We will be having some Cellar Angel prizes and gifts that we'll share. We are going to have World Long Drive champion Josh Cassidy, and also Guinness Book of World Record holder. We're going to have him there to hit tee shots on number 8. He just broke a record last Monday. From his knees, he hit a drive 346 yards on his knees.
But was it in bounds?
It was in bounds, yes. So we'll have some fun and some entertainment, lots of great giveaways, and we expect we'll probably raise around $100,000 with the golf-only event, and that'll go and fund over 20 scholarships for Folds of Honor, just that event. So we're looking forward to that.
How do you select recipients, Doug and Dora? I can't imagine that to be an easy task.
Yeah, Folds of Honor has a very specific and set application process. And you can see that at the foldsofhonor.org website. And every year they have an open scholarship application window. And those that are falling into the criteria of being from a military family that has had a family member pass or disabled are eligible to apply. And those are looked at, and they go through that formal application process, and then the scholarship would be granted. Unfortunately, every year they come up about they have requests of between $1 million and $2 million that go unfulfilled.
Oh, wow.
So they're constantly trying to raise more funds to do that. But what they've done is great. It's growing. It's the only source out there for military families to get educational scholarships, of this nature. But you can see all of that scholarship process at their website. And you'll see also the chapter listings there. Those of you that are around the country, got local chapters. If you want to get involved with them, you'll see the chapter listings. All the chapters have their own dedicated websites also. Ours for Colorado is foldsofhonordenver.org. And if it's something, the military touches many of our families, both our dads were in the military, and those of you that put high value on educating our future and have a tie to the military, we would ask that you consider it for some of your treasures when you decide to share. It's a great cause.
No, that's amazing. And I can't remember, when did he found the organization? How long ago?
In 2007, so 13 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
And think about granting almost 25,000 scholarships in the last 13 years. It's phenomenal what they've done.
That's incredible. And only way to go is upward too. So the more people we can get exposed to it, actually, slight commercial here, the more wine we can get in people's hands with the checkbox for Folds of Honor, the better. As I mentioned at the onset of this, Doug and Dora have been friends of the company for quite a few years now, going on 4 or 5 years, big wine fans, and also a library club member. So he knows as well as I do that Folds is also very big in the golf arena, because you can go to many public golf courses around the country and do kind of some sort of a dollar match, I think, in the pro shop to say, yeah, I'd like a percentage of my greens fees to go here. I don't know if that's at the private courses as well, or is that just public? Do you know, Doug?
Yeah, it's at a combination of both public and private. It's referred to as Patriot Golf Day.
Okay.
It is usually done Memorial Day weekend. And because of all of the coronavirus issues this past Memorial Day weekend, they decided to go and move it to Labor Day weekend. So you will see at a lot of public and private golf clubs, they will be holding Patriot Golf Days, where they will donate a portion of the green fees to Folds of Honor. Colonel Dan Rooney is, not only a colonel in the Air Force, but he is also a PGA golf professional. And the Professional Golf Association is one of the major contributors to Folds of Honors as a corporate partner. And they've been very involved in the organization since the beginning. So Dan can not only fly an F-16 fighter, but he can also go out and shoot a round of par golf too. Pretty talented, special guy.
No, it sounds extremely talented. As I see Denise looking over at me going, God, you are a slacker.
He's an
we all are.
Yeah, underachiever.
Yeah, that is a tough act to follow. Colonel in the Air Force, fly an F-16, and then go shoot scratch. But what I did hear between the lines, not so subtly, is you just green lighted me to go play golf on Labor Day, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly, and I'm sure there's a number of clubs around the Naples area that will be doing that. So it'll be another way for you to make a donation to the cause.
That's fantastic. And by the way, everyone else that's on that is golfing and wants to squeeze in one more round this year, that's a great opportunity if you're in the Midwest. And we all know the golf season is only about 6 months up there. So this is the perfect time to do that. Talk to me a little bit about both of your passion for wine. How did that happen? And what is how gratifying is it to be able to mix wine with something like this?
That's a great question. I think it evolves. We're old enough to go back to the Boone's Farm days, and
Speak for yourself on that one.
Growing up in New England, Boone's Farm, I think Strawberry Hill was my first introduction to what might be called a wine
what might be called a wine.
That's embarrassing, right, Martin?
It's a little, I mean, you had Boone's Farm, we had Lancers, Bartles and James, you know, all of those classics.
Riuniti.
Riuniti,
Or
yes.
as we had one friend call it, ruin your nighty.
That was,
I would say I got a little bit more exposed to it when I went to school in DC and got to work on the Hill. That was probably my first exposure to fine scotches and good wines. And I think as time has evolved and trips to Napa, trips to Sonoma, and then having Steve and his family over in Italy and his wife actually being Italian and being from Naples, Italy, a couple trips over to Italy will get you hooked too. So in the last 10 years, we've had a lot more interest in it. And we have a running joke. I will go and stack wines on the top shelf to the bottom shelf, and I'll refer to them as special occasion wines or daily wines. And over the years, Miss Dora's taste for special occasion wines moves to a daily basis.
They intermingle easily.
that whole daily wine.
Discussion over what can I open, what can I open, and I go, just wait till I get home.
There is Jeff and Jane Greasy. You might actually relate to that challenge. It's amazing, I would imagine, Dora, how that daily wine category and space is just getting larger and larger and larger as it just kind of encompasses the special wine category.
Exactly.
I've been trying to prepare her for the library club shipment coming. I go, dear, this is all special occasion wine.
Every day it's special occasion in my
That's right. Every day is a special occasion. I like that. We're in New England.
A little town called Walpole, New Hampshire, on the Vermont border in the southwestern part of the state.
Oh, wow. Very pretty. Because I know the Marcellas, Brian Marcella has a Boston and New England connection. So would that mean a Patriot fan, or did you grow out of that?
You know, I'm still a Patriot fan, but when I was growing up, all of our TV stations came from New York, and the Patriots were terrible. So I was actually a Joe Namath fan as a kid.
That's not a bad guy to be a fan of growing up.
And the Patriots were competing with Bobby Orr and Phil Esposito of the Bruins and John Havlicek of the Celtics and, Carl Yastrzemski and Carlton Fisk of the Red Sox. So nobody knew what the Patriots were back in the 60s and 70s.
No, and those were some pretty well-rounded baseball teams, hockey teams. I mean, and the Celtics, my goodness.
Dynasties, yeah.
So you worked out in DC and then you moved west and you're in the Denver area now. What brought you to Denver?
Business brought us to Denver. We've been out here with some brief stints back east since 1998. And,
oh, wow.
The weather is great here, as you've experienced. We have 4 seasons, but we have, I think they mislabeled Florida as the Sunshine State. I think there's actually more days of sunshine in Colorado than there are in Florida. The Chamber of Commerce advertises 300 days of sunshine here, and it's usually that. But we do get some snow, but it doesn't stick around like it does back in the east and the north.
No, it's obviously, having lived in Fort Collins and gone to school there, I did read that Chamber of Commerce thing, 300 days of sunshine a year, and when I read what Illinois had, which is where I grew up at 90, it's one of those head scratching things where you're like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
So you're out there in 98, you're in the investment business. You're actually, describe your business, because I describe it as kind of, when you have a lot of money, Doug's the person indoors, the people you want to see, because they will take care of everything.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of you, Martin. We have our business is called Alpha Capital Family Office, and we provide, wealth management services, family office services to successful, closely held business owners. And Dora and her son Steve run a insurance agency that helps them with life insurance and long-term care. We've got approximately half of our clients are in Colorado, and the other half are scattered all over the country, basically in the 4 corners. So we do get to travel back east a good bit to see clients, and out west. I just came back from a trip, this was about a month and a half ago now, to Oregon. We actually went through wine country there, and just got back from a trip a couple weeks ago in Idaho. So we get to travel around a bit, and it's fun. We serve some great people on that side, and it's very rewarding how we help them out. Our practice is multi-generational. We're the founders, and we have second and third generations in our practice, so they get to match up with the families, with the kids and the grandkids that we work with. So it's pretty cool, and they all love wine too.
How can you not? And Dora, it sounds like that you should be the person Denise and I talk to you, since we have no offspring and no one is going to take care of us when we get older.
Yes, I should talk to you. Absolutely.
It's a growing concern of ours as the years pile up.
I think an assisted living center adjacent to a winery is sort of what I have envisioned.
Yeah, someone get a patent on that little design.
Yeah.
I'll work on that. That's a great idea.
Yeah, you have daily tastings, you know.
It goes hand in hand with, long-term care insurance.
Memory loss is not an issue, you know.
Yeah,
You don't want to lose your
that's
taste.
exactly right. And Jeff Creasy, don't think I didn't see your comment about knowing what inbounds on a golf course is like. It is sometimes foreign. Long and wrong is always not good. I want to circle back a little bit to Folds of Honor, and being 13 years of age is, it's just an impressive organization all around. And I think one of the things you highlighted earlier from really being impressive is that 89 cents out of every dollar. That is, unheard of. There's been a lot of quote unquote charities in the news in the last probably 3 to 5 to 7 years where that number has been administrative fee. They only give 31 cents out of every dollar, and the rest are going to administration fees and salaries and stuff. 89 cents is impressive. How do you want to build upon that in the Denver chapter and grow the whole mission? What's in store for you in the future there?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Martin, and it doesn't come without a lot of work. And all of us, and I'm sure everybody on this call, does different things with organizations that are near and dear to their heart. And those organizations ask us for a number of things. And the one thing I've learned over the years is that they want our time, they want our talents, and they want our treasures. And while it's easy to go and write a check or, give them a credit card number, a lot of times what's more important is to go and get actually the time and the talents of that. And I think that's something that Folds of Honor has done very well, and we've tried to do with the Denver chapter, is we want people to be able to go and give their time, because when they give their time, that's money too. Time is money, as we all know. But that goes and keeps other costs down, where we're not having to hire somebody else. And giving their talents, you'll get a CPA firm to go and donate the accounting services that are needed. You'll get people to go and donate other services that you need to go and run an event services, or different equipment and stuff that you'll need. So we try to employ that strategy. I actually learned that from the Boy Scout board I serve on. We want you to give your time, your talent, and your treasures, and that'll help make the organization even more efficient and more profitable.
It's an impressive organization, and you two have certainly instilled in me, and we're humbled to call you friends and of the company and both personally. But I love the hustle. As entrepreneurs, which you obviously are with Alpha Capital, there's no substitute for hustle. But when you are doing that with the time, the talent, and the treasures with a charitable organization, there's kind of an unconscious raising of the bar that is in the back of your head, that you realize, okay, there's a lot to celebrate. We're both walking, we're both doing this, and some people aren't as fortunate. So there's almost like an extra impetus to get the job done and bring people into the fold that they want to get something done too. So I want to, again, raise a glass to both of you, because your efforts are not for naught, and you've done an amazing thing in the Denver chapter. And speaking of time, I know you've got to jump because it's almost 6:30 and you have a somewhat of a hard stop. But you guys have been outstanding, and thank you for jumping in, and thank you for all you do, and thank your children too, please.
Oh,
Thank you, Martin.
Thank you and Denise Martin for promoting this passion that we all have around fine wines. and by also tying it to the support of charities and everybody being able to go and pick those charities that are near and dear to their heart and their families. So congrats to you
Yes,
for
thank you for your
perpetuating
support.
all of this, and obviously for your support of Folds of Honor.
Our pleasure. And it's, yeah, Folds is something worthy of drinking to. And you guys be safe. Doug, I'm sure we'll talk soon.
Yes.
And thanks again for jumping in and on the Audible. I love the fact that you're able to share what this organization does, because it's impressive as all heck. Have a
Thank you,
safe
guys.
night.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
All right,
Cheers.
cheers.